Welcome back to Set Streets and Needs, guys. I'm Chris Bauer, and I am in Las Vegas, Nevada today to talk about Pizza Time Theater history here in Las Vegas. We're going to talk a little bit about the history. We're going to mention showbiz, and we're going to go see one of the modern Chuck E. Cheese's. All in this episode is Set Streets and Needs. Stick around.
There's a Chuck E. Cheese's Pizza Time Theater near you.
So behind me is the Five Below, which is where Chuck E. Cheese, one of the Chuck E. Cheese Pizza Time Theaters, was here in Las Vegas. That is 2025 East Lake Mead Avenue here in Las Vegas. They call this North Vegas. That was only here for 2 years. It was not the first one to open. It was actually the third, and then all three of them, they all opened in 1982 in different months from spring through fall, and then all three of them closed. Two closed in 84. This one closed in 84, and one other location closed in 85. So for 2 to 3 years, Pizza Time Theater had 3 locations in one city, which is pretty impressive. That's pretty good coverage for Pizza Time Theaters. Again, I'm certain, given the dates that they went out of business, it had to do with the bankruptcy and the merger and all that, like many of these Pizza Time Theaters. One opened over on Tropicana Avenue. That was from 82 to 84. That is now a apartment complex. And then the other location was on Vegas Drive. That opened in 1982 and closed in 85. That one is part of a plaza like this one is. This one is a shopping plaza. And of course, because it's a plaza, that location over there and this location have at least remained building-wise. Interesting thing about the Pizza Time Theaters here. Very little information. And I mean, I've done a few of these already, and I have found like a little bit of tidbits at different things in different cities. There's nothing about the Pizza Time Theaters here in Vegas. And it's kind of interesting. I'm not really sure why. I couldn't even find any newspaper articles that ever mentioned them. And I will say that Pizza Time Theater and Showbiz at that era, they were advertising in every newspaper. So the fact that I can't find any in Vegas papers is kind of crazy. It's interesting. They had 3 locations. They only lasted 3 years and closed them up. The other really interesting thing is there was never a Showbiz pizza place in Las Vegas. Wrap your mind around that, because Showbiz was basically copying the entire playbook from Pizza Time Theater as far as opening stores goes. It's crazy that there was no Showbiz pizza here. In fact, the only mention I can find on it was on a Facebook post from many, many years ago. Someone had said that there was a Showbiz here and that the building, it only lasted 2 years, and that the building was bought, once Showbiz went out of business, the building was bought by Debbie Reynolds, and that property and building got torn down and became part of her hotel and casino. I don't know if that's true. My guess is they were probably thinking of one of these Pizza Time Theaters, would be my guess. That's a common mistake a lot of people make, because I can find absolutely no mention of a Showbiz here in Vegas. If you know different, please drop it in the comments. I would love to find out. So we'll put a pin in that one, but as of right now, as the recording of this, I can find no mention of Showbiz ever being here. The other pretty crazy thing is when that third location closed. This was the second Pizza Time Theater to close here in Las Vegas in 1984. The third one to close was 85. There was not another Chuck E. Cheese opened here in Vegas for 12 years. 1998 13 years. How crazy is that? So Vegas had no animatronic entertainment from Showbiz or Pizza, or, well, obviously not Pizza Time Theater, but Chuck E. Cheese for the rest of the 80s and most of the 90s. It's pretty insane to me that they didn't have a store here. I don't know the reasoning behind that. It seems kind of nuts. It seems like they would have tried to have a store here, but I really don't know. Anyway, I just thought that was an interesting fact. But I would love to find out if that information is wrong about Showbiz. I would love to find out. It seems weird that they didn't have one here. So I'd love to find out. If you know, drop it in the comments. We're probably not going to go inside. We've all been in a Five Below, but I will show you something that is very old, and I feel like it probably was the exterior, and that's the stone exterior out here. I mean, there's a good chance this wall was the exact same when it was a Pizza Time Theater back in the early 80s. There's mostly brick wall down that way, and of course all these pillars are brick. But yeah, I would say that this looks pretty old. So I kind of wonder if I could find a picture, even pictures I can't seem to find, of the Pizza Time Theater here on East Lake Mead. I'd love to see if that stone wall was there. I'll bet it was. Well, as these Pizza Time Theaters, because they were only open for 2 or 3 years, we know that they each had balcony stages. That's a given. That was the thing they were putting in the early 80s. Obviously, there was a few portrait stages for the early locations, but none of the Vegas locations were early. They were a little bit later, so they definitely had a balcony stage here and at the other 2 locations, which means, especially being 83, 82, 83, they no doubt had a Madame Oink and probably a Harmony Howlette. Being that they closed in 84 and 85, they most likely had settled in and had the Helen. The Helen was put in and remained. She was a guest star, and then they started hitting money troubles in 84, so Helen all of a sudden became the staple. And she was the last guest star that was put in. So that was no doubt here as well. I'll put up some more ads, of course, and different things. These would be ads that they ran in every newspaper in America. But for some reason, I can't find them in the Vegas papers of that era. And I will say this, I can't find any Vegas papers from not only that era, but modern era on newspapers.com. So there could be some kind of problem between that website and that paper. I really don't know. So that's probably more likely what it is, instead of the fact that they never ran ads in the papers, because they did that in every town in America.
At Chuck E. Cheese's Pizza Time Theater, pizza's never been so much fun. Meet the Pizza Time players. There's Jasper T. Jowls, Mr. Munch, the Purple Pizza Eater, and Chuck E. Cheese, the MC and colorful leader of Pizza Time players. Your whole family will love the exciting entertainment, and they'll love the delicious pizza, too, made from the finest ingredients. You can have loads of fun making your own sundae. And there's more. Chuck E. Cheese game tokens are free with every food purchase. They're good for playing all the latest video games. Once you've tried Chuck E. Cheese's Pizza Time Theater, you'll agree pizza's never been so much fun. So come on in and meet the Pizza Time players, play the latest video games, and taste the best pizza in town. See you soon at Chuck E. Cheese's Pizza Time Theater, where pizza's never been so much fun.
Which brings me over here to a Chuck E. Cheese, the oldest Chuck E. Cheese in Las Vegas. I know it's very modern. It's, of course, had the 2.0 remodel. So this is on Westlake Mead Boulevard, which is on the other end of the boulevard from where that Pizza Time Theater we were just at is on. And this opened in 1998. So this, of course, opened with an alpha stage. By then, they had just started putting the alpha stages in, so it had a Studio C single bot. It had that until they remodeled, I believe in 2018 or 2019. Could be wrong about that, but not that that matters, because there was no Munch's Make Believe Band. In fact, there are now 6 different locations of Chuck E. Cheese here in the Vegas area. They've never had a Munch's Make Believe Band here. It's all been Studio C bots. And the one that opened in 2024 actually opened with the 2.0 remodel, so it never even had an animatronic in it, which is kind of crazy. So keep in mind, when this opened in '98, this was the first Chuck E. Cheese to be open in over 13 years. There had been absolutely nothing here since 1985 when the last Pizza Time Theater closed. And so this was the first time they had a presence here, which is really unbelievable. So after they opened this one in 1988, they opened a second location in 1999 in Henderson, which is a suburb of Las Vegas. They opened another Vegas location in 2022, opened another one in 2010, and then in 2024, they opened the 6th location here in Vegas. All are open, all seem to be thriving with the 2.0 remodel. You know, as much as we won't want that to be true, I'm still glad that they're making money and staying open and keeping Chuck E. Cheese alive, at least in the area. But, you know, wish they had the animatronics. But either way, let's go in and check out this Chuck E. Cheese here in Las Vegas. Never been.
Once I had this wild idea for a place where you could eat pizza, salads, and sundaes, and play exciting new games, see a show. I'd call it Chuck E. Cheese's Pizza Time Theater. I just wonder if anyone would come. Now there's a new Pizza Time Theater right here.
It is hopping in here. It is a Friday night, and this place is packed. The other cool thing about this place I wanted to mention was when they opened in '98, they had to have gotten the 1995 Peeler and Rose remodel, meaning they would have had all the shelving put on the walls with the artifacts, a lot of the 1995 art. The reason I say that is when I was interviewing Peeler and Rose about the statues in my statue video, I'll link to that up here, they mentioned that they had made a Liberace statue, and they only made the one that they can remember originally, and it was, of course, had to be at this store because the next store didn't open here until 1999, which I guess they could have gotten it by then, but by then they were already transitioning into the next remodel, so I'm not 100% sure. I feel like it would have been here. Chuck E. Cheese is about to come out, and it is going to get rowdy. There's like 75 kids in here.
Chuck E. Cheese! Chuck E. Cheese!
He's getting mobbed. That dude just got mobbed like he was on the Beatles. Birthday! Chuck, can I get a high five, buddy? Yes. The kitty section here. And there's not much, a whole lot going on. We got Barney over here. We did take the camera off of the Chuck, but we can high five our guy anyway. They do have a where a kid can be a kid carousel here, which is pretty awesome. Again, you don't see those all that often anymore. You see the other one a lot more. Of course, right next to the kids section, we do have the trampoline section and the Ninja Zone. Here's what's really cool. And no, I do not know if it's AI generated, but they do have a Vegas piece of art that is just about Vegas, which is really cool. I'm going to try to get a better look at it. Look at this, guys. So we got Helen, we got Chuck, and it's got it's fabulous Chuck E. Cheese, Nevada. It's based on, of course, the Las Vegas sign. And then we got Bella and Jasper driving in a car. We've got the strip on the back there. This is actually a really cool piece of art. Very cool, very specific to here. I'm sure you guys are already in the comments about it could be AI generated. I don't know. Again, that was something that got said about the Adventure World there in Dallas or Arlington. I don't know. I don't know if this is or not, but it is very cool, and it's reminiscent of the one I had or I saw in St. Louis with the Mega Zone there. The St. Louis one had a St. Louis specific piece of art. So I don't know. I don't, even if they are AI generated, they're really cool looking, and I like that they are specific to the city. We do have the air hockey, and getting out of the kid zone into the arcade, we got Bug Catcher and Dog Pounder, Spider Web, Jumping Fantasy. We got Mad Wave Motion Theater. We have Mario and Luigi's big game there. We do have the Water Guy Pixel Play. Those are cool. They remind me of the old ones. We used to have one of these at Discovery Zone back in the 90s. They were a nightmare to work on, I'll just tell you that. And the water gets gnarly in here, I'll just tell you that. But this is probably pretty clean. We got Simpsons Soccer. We got the hoops. We got Ticket Troopers right in front of the alley rollers. We've got Milk Jug, Pop It for Gold. Haven't seen this one in a little while. Always love seeing this art on the side of that. And Ring Toss over here in the corner. Oh, we got the Nightmare Fuel Bop to Win. And of course I have to mention, we got Seawolf, the regular sit-down version. Been in Chuck E. Cheese's since the beginning of the Pizza Time Theater days. We got Plants vs. Zombies, we got the Batman ride, we got Trolls. We've got lots of other games here. Dizzy Chicken, you don't see that often. They got one of the giant claw machines with the giant plushes in them. These I've only seen at Chuck's Arcades and at the Adventure World. So this is definitely a big game. I love the sign. If I could ever get one of those signs, it would be incredible. I mean, they're beautifully lit up. Not a big fan of the Rockstar Phase 5 art, but still, come on, how great is that? Rounding out, we got Eiffel Tower. Looks like needs some maintenance. Error. We've got Jelly Lab and Fast and the Furious and Black Hole rounding out the arcade. In the store, they are fully stocked. We got large plush, we got little plush. I see little Pasquales up there. We got the Helen face purses. We've got all kinds of good stuff. I'm digging it. Well, guys, there's not much else to discuss about the history of Chuck E. Cheese in Las Vegas. It's very limited. They got that weird gap, so there's a lot of history that's not here. There's 6 of them here now, and none of them were former showbiz, because that wasn't a thing. Which means we can't be like, hey, in this room, Ralph and Earl used to be, or Lady Liberty, Uncle Clunk, or any of the other animatronics. So it's kind of weird that they didn't have that, and what are you gonna do, you know? But they did have 3 Pizza Time theaters. They weren't here long, but they did have them. And then this one's been here since '98. This is the oldest one in Las Vegas. So yeah, it's pretty cool. I just figured I'd come in and check it out. Wow, is it busy. Crazy busy. I'm starting to see, if the other ones are like this too, I see why they have 6 locations here in the city limits, or in the area, I should say. It was these numbers that opened. See how I did that? Anyway, hope you guys enjoyed this history of Pizza Time Theater and not showbiz here in Las Vegas. And hope you're enjoying this busy Friday night in a very cool, one little blast plug, I'll say. That piece of art is awesome. I don't know if it's AI generated, but it's really cool, man. Having it specific to the city, that's starting to be a thing for them. I'm loving it. Yeah, that's my 2 cents. You can crucify me in the comments. It's just really cool. So it's very specific to the location. That's what I like about it. So hope you guys enjoyed this history of, and we'll see you guys in the next video. Bye now. Later, Chuck.